Thursday. The one-flesh model of marriage. Study the creation narrative of Genesis 2:15-25. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. And the Lord God commanded the man, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it, you will certainly die." The Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." Now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the wild animals and all the birds in the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all the livestock, the birds in the sky, and all the wild animals. But for Adam, no suitable helper was found. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh." Adam and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame. What happens in the story before the statement concerning a husband and wife being one flesh? A key to applying Paul's counsel to wives and husbands is to see his citation of Genesis 2:24 in Ephesians 5:31 as the culmination of it. As he meditates on the creation story of Genesis, Paul considers the needs of Christian congregations and the health of family relationships within them. By divine design, marriage is intended to be a one-flesh relationship, with sexual unity mirrored in emotional and spiritual unity, and emotional and spiritual unity bringing meaning to the sexual relationship. Note that in choosing Genesis 2:24, Paul selects a statement about marriage made before the fall and applies it to the relationships between Christian husbands and wives. In our distinctly post-fall world, rampant exploitation of the sexual relationship between a man and a woman reveals how deeply entrenched in modern cultures is the idea that the sexual union represents subjugation of the woman. Paul argues that the sexual relationship, as reflected in Genesis, is not one of subjugation but of union. It does not symbolize or actualize the dominance of the male but the union of husband and wife, so much so that they are one flesh. We may look to both verses, then, for an important countercultural and corrective theology of marriage and sexuality. In this same context, Paul in the next verse talks about a profound mystery. This includes both sides of the double metaphor Paul has been discussing. Christian marriage understood in the light of Christ's relationship with his church, and Christ's relationship with his church understood in the light of Christian marriage. Christian marriage is elevated by comparing it to the relationship between Christ and the church. In addition, by thinking of the church's relationship to Christ through the lens of a caring Christian marriage, believers gain new clarity about their shared relationship to Christ. In what ways does Ephesians 5:33 serve as a concise summary of Paul's counsel in Ephesians 5:21-32? If married, how can you seek to more fully implement these principles in your marriage?